Not every story in the gaming industry ends in victory or celebration. Even the best developers and publishers can occasionally lose their way. Missteps and mistakes are common, and one of the hardest lessons to be learned is that failure is okay. What's more important is what one is taught from these failures, how they grow and continue moving forward. Some of the best games ever given to us were the result of long, tumultuous developments, final products that resembled initial ideas very little. Such is the case with Blizzard Entertainment's Overwatch, which in a surprisingly intimate and personal story for its team, rose from the ashes of the company's biggest failure to become one of the largest hits in online competitive shooters.
Oh, let's break it down!
In the wake of their genre-defining successes with World of Warcraft, Blizzard Entertainment took care in deciding what path to follow next. One team within the company decided to work on a new massively multiplayer game titled Titan, which would have been Blizzard's first new franchise in over a decade. The plan for Titan was detailed and comprehensive, with ambitions set higher than World of Warcraft, an intended release date of Q4 2013, and a vision for the title to live for nearly 20 years after its launch. Titan's development team hoped that it would set a new mark in the industry, but many within the company would later describe these aspirations as foolish pridefulness. By 2012, Titan's development team had grown to over 100 individuals, but it was looking increasingly unlikely that the title would hit its intended release date of 2013. Rob Pardo, Blizzard's vice president of game design, explained that it was a very big project that's got a long ways to go. However, by the next year, plans for the project had completely changed. Titan had fallen apart. The company was unhappy with the direction the title was headed and delayed it until 2016 at the earliest, cutting the team down to just 30 people, throwing out almost all of their work, and restarting development from scratch. However, work on this revamped Titan did not progress as Blizzard intended, and something drastic had to be done. In a decision that Chris Metzen, Blizzard's senior vice president of story and franchise development and lore master, described as excruciating, the company completely canceled Titan in September of 2014. Metzen explained, "We got a little squirrely under the weight of this giant idea we were chasing. We, in some ways, lost connectivity with each other. Everyone starts going off to their own camps and building their own part and just trying to protect the part of it that they can be uniquely responsible for. We frayed a little bit. We lost that space where we were so strong." Titan's failure was difficult for its development team. Up until this point, the company had such luck with their titles. Only spin-offs had ever been canceled, not huge projects or new IPs, and a failure on the scale of Titan was unprecedented for the company. It so affected them that lead designer Jeff Kaplan described it as a kind of crisis of confidence and identity. However, despite the difficulty of this decision, it was undoubtedly the right one. Mike Morhaime, co-founder and CEO of Blizzard, stated, "It's always really hard to make those kinds of decisions, but it has always resulted in better quality work." Though the project that was Titan died in Blizzard's offices, the core of its idea would live on in the hearts and minds of their developers, and eventually be reborn into something sleeker and stronger. While talking to Polygon of Titan's cancellation, Metzen and Morhaime pointed out the success of Blizzard's smaller projects like Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, games born of experimentation and reuse of assets. Pointing to their accomplishments, Metzen told Polygon, "Maybe we can be what we want to be and inspire groups around the company to experiment, get creative, think outside the box, and take chances on things that just might thrill people. Maybe they don't have to be these colossal, summer blockbuster type projects." This philosophy would run deep in Titan's successor. Led by director Jeff Kaplan, a new game titled Overwatch sprouted and blossomed from Titan's grave. From what we know of Titan, Blizzard had intended to incorporate several elements from first-person shooters into its gameplay, and these pieces were picked up by Overwatch. However, though the genre was full of excellent and groundbreaking titles, Blizzard believed that there was still plenty of room for innovation with the FPS, and the company planned to do so by looking in an unorthodox direction. During the development of Titan, multiplayer online battle arena seemingly conquered the world, and several of Blizzard's developers were intrigued by the intimate, interdependent nature of the genre and its gameplay. They decided to incorporate several elements from MOBAs into Overwatch, creating the premise for their new game, a cooperative, team-driven, hero-based shooter. Simultaneously, Blizzard decided that it was important for Overwatch to be objective-based, deciding to forego team deathmatches and stripping out kill-death ratios because they limited what could be done with the mechanics the team was working with. It was thought that oftentimes such systems did not paint an accurate picture of a player performing well as a support or a tank. Many members of Overwatch's development staff had been hardcore fans of shooters, dating all the way back to games like Doom and mods such as Action Quake. These team members sought to borrow elements from several different titles and integrate them into Overwatch, pulling ideas from several eclectic corners of the genre. These included, but were not limited to, the modern and near-future military shooters like Call of Duty and Battlefield, diverse, class-based games like Team Fortress and Team Fortress 2, arena shooters like Quake, Unreal, and Tribes, sci-fi-driven titles like Halo, Destiny, and Titanfall, and even precision shooters like Counter-Strike. Mobility options like rocket jumping, jetpacks, grappling hooks, wall riding, bunny hopping, and teleporting were implemented in unique ways, with some characters being built solely around those ideas. And sometimes weapons would be the entire basis for heroes. For example, early on, Blizzard decided that they wanted characters with rockets and grenade launchers, molding new heroes around these playstyles. Multiple types of turret building options were also included, and one character was designed around the idea of putting the player into a turret section from a shooter. Even old-school FPS cheats like aimbots and seeing through walls were organically included into the game as ultimate abilities for different champions. Every last facet of Overwatch, from its level design to its game modes to its storyline, was designed around the heroes the players take control of. They are undoubtedly the single most important part of the title. The very first character designed was Tracer, whose moveset and abilities were a holdover from a character concept created for Titan. The team initially tested Overwatch's core mechanics completely using Tracer on an unfinished version of the game's first map, the Temple of Anubis. Slowly, more characters took shape, the next three being the Sniper Widowmaker, the Tank Reinhardt, and the Akimbo Shotgunner, Reaper. Over time, more heroes were added and many more scrapped. At one point, Overwatch featured as many as 40 characters across 6 different classes, each one handcrafted with little dings and pockmarks on them. According to assistant game director Aaron Keller, one of the biggest struggles the team faced was to make each champion feel unique without burdening the title with overcomplexity. He told Ars Technica, around the time we had 15 or 16 heroes in the game, people would start bringing up the point of, is this enough heroes? Are you done? Do you actually need more heroes? Every single character had to work in tandem with every other member of the roster, had to have counters for the other team to use against them, and had to be fun to play even if multiple people had selected them. The process of creating a new hero was so arduous that every single time the team felt confident enough to officially add one, they added something unique and fresh to the title. Overwatch's final roster included a motley crew of 21 characters who were diverse in every sense of the word, all with their own identifiable personalities, recognizable silhouettes, distinct iconography, and unique playstyles. Each and every one is aesthetically and mechanically designed to perfectly convey everything the player needs to know about their character, forging a troupe that just oozes of charm. The cast of the title is perhaps its greatest strength, and has been rightfully praised by both fans and critics alike. And with a group of characters this compelling, Blizzard aimed to create a world fit for their robust roster. Keller stressed that it was important for Overwatch to stand out in a genre oftentimes crowded with titles draped in cloaks of brown and gray. He said, "We wanted this game to feel almost hopeful and inspirational. We wanted to create this bright world, and we purposefully strayed away from something grim." The story of Overwatch is not told in the game itself. Instead, Blizzard opted to create a game without a single-player campaign, and a narrative that lives through its character interactions and multimedia projects like comics and animated short films. Most of the story has yet to be told, though its broad strokes do exist. Overwatch was a team of heroes gathered to help stop a war between humans and the mechanical Omnics. An unstable peace was eventually found, and Overwatch was disbanded after several controversies and tragedies. However, many years later, new troubles are rising, and it may be time to recall the heroes of Overwatch into action once again. Major sections in Overwatch's timeline have been left intentionally blank, so as to keep the players wondering, speculating, and even contributing to the universe. There's much yet to be uncovered here, but the tale that has been told so far has been worthy to stand alongside Blizzard Entertainment's other lore and story-driven universes. Overwatch was officially announced at BlizzCon 2014 in an emotional moment for its development team. Their years of hard work, their failures, and their newfound triumphs had finally been realized and given to the world. A closed beta for the title began in October of 2015, and later an open beta was held in May of 2016. Both were incredible successes, drawing a total of 9.7 million players. The title was formally released in May of 2016 and sold over 7 million copies in just a week. As of mid-June 2016, Overwatch has moved more than 10 million units. Overwatch could have been an excellent game and left it at that, but when you look a little deeper into its story, the path that was traveled to make it so, it becomes something so much more. Chris Metzen summed it up perfectly when he said, "Overwatch is a redemption story. We needed this as people." This was a game made by administrators who knew when to step back from a project and let it go, by developers who knew what pieces to pick up and put back together, by fans who wanted to contribute and pay tribute to a genre that they'd adored for decades, and artists who understood that making something fun was more important than ambition set to the stars. And Overwatch could not be better for it. Heyo, hi, hello, Lee here again. Thank you for watching this little look back at Overwatch. It's a very new game, but I also love the game, so I wanted to talk about it. Don't judge me. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to The Theorists for more theories, retrospectives, and cultural analyses. Anyway, yeah, next time is another Nintendo game.